Welcome to the Harjit and Prayer Show with your host, Harjit and Prayer.
Happy April!
April Fool!
Did you do any good jokes?
No, I'm
No?
too old for jokes, man.
Oh man, that's cool. My
Yeah.
my oldest daughter, she's 7. She thought I was playing a joke on her because I went to get tacos and they filled the order incorrectly. They gave me all beef tacos instead of refried bean, which she loves. So
All
she
right,
thought
right,
they,
right.
they thought that I was playing a joke on them. I'm like, no, why would I do that? And she got really upset, and I was like, I'm really sorry. Let's go. Let's fix this. And so we came up with a deal. So we're good to go. But
Yeah.
I was an infamous joker back in the day. I have,
I used to play a lot of pranks when I was younger. And in fact, my youngest daughter, one of her favorite pranks is to tie a rubber band around the holes in the sink, in
mhm.
the kitchen sink. The one that you have to spray you can pull out so she'll put a rubber band on that. So when you go turn the tap on, boom, it starts
Oh,
spraying
brother.
on you. I'm
Oh,
like,
I got a bunch. That's nothing. I
right,
don't.
I know, I know.
People, there's pranks that I've set up that I'm still waiting to go off. Like I'll walk into a building, I'm like, oh man, is it gonna be today? And that was like from high school and stuff. So
Right.
one of my
That
favorites, I'll tell you about two really quick. So um, we we broke into a bathroom. Well, not really broke in, but we went into a bathroom at night and we took down the fluorescent bulbs and we coated them with this paste made from water and garlic powder. And then we put the lights back in. And so the next morning when they flipped the
turn
lights
them
on
on.
and stuff like that, they're like, "What is that smell?" And then after a while, they couldn't even be in there. It was so bad.
Oh my
Oh yeah,
God.
that was epic. And they never figured out who it was. That's the best part of the prank is they don't find out who you are. And I probably shouldn't talk about the second one, so we'll continue.
Okay.
Uh, anyway, um,
Anyways, so what's
so
new, man?
well, we've been talking about the creative update, and so that's making its way around. If you're using the support assistant, you can get it now.
The update assistant.
Update assistant.
Update.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Cool.
Well, so technically, Creative Update is rolling out to the masses on April 11th,
Yes.
right? And it's going to be in phases, right? Some will get it on the 11th and things like that, but that's the official time frame. But starting today, April 5th, if you're really keen to get it, you can do so through the Update Assistant tool. And we'll post some links down below in our video here, and it's easy to do. I mean, you just install it. It says, "Hey, yep, you got an update." Click it. It starts doing its thing, reboots, and you're good to go.
Cool.
So
Yep.
it's
And this
pretty
is this is 1703.
1703. Yep.
And whenever this happens, if you're an IT person, you need to start thinking about, all right, what build am I currently on? So, for example, if you're still on 1511, you really need to get on gear on starting to phase that out because there's going to be a point where, okay, that's it, no more updates for this guy, like we're going to see with 1507 in a few
Right.
months.
Right.
So
Right.
need to be aware of that. And I asked you a few minutes ago, okay, if I am a business and I am a network administrator, and like, why
Right.
on earth, why in the world would I deploy the creative update? I mean, it's for creative people, right? And
Right.
so we discussed that, and it's funny because we run the insider builds, we don't realize like, oh, this is a feature that nobody nobody has yet. So it was interesting looking at the article, like all this stuff that is part of 1703. So
Yeah. And so before we dive into that, real quick, the update today is actually only for it's not does not include enterprise. So
right,
if you want enterprise, you got to either get the ISO from the Insider build, or you can get it from MSDN. It's available on MSDN. And
right.
folks that have been asking about volume license, um, availability, that's coming out on May 1st.
Oh wow.
So
that's
volume
soon.
license customers is May 1st. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, technically not, because they're pushing out to the masses on April 11th, but volume license gets it on May 1st. It's almost like
Oh
about 3 weeks
yeah.
later.
That is a
See what I'm
while.
saying? It's the
Yep.
other
Yep.
way around, right?
Interesting.
So I've heard arguments in the past from IT pros where, hey, but I want to get first dibs. I want to build my images. I want to get it ready. I want to things like that before my organization gets it and stuff. But so that's the way it is. I guess
Yeah.
if your organization's on enterprise, they kind of have to wait anyways.
Right. I think this is going to be the case for the education version as well, because
Yes.
that's a play off of enterprise. There's just some features taken
Right.
out. So
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you wanna walk through some of those features
well, I
in
mean,
1703?
my favorite is Windows Hello for Business.
Oh yeah.
That, I mean, I think that
Yep.
is the coolest. That's the coolest feature out now. And if you have, you need a special camera for that. It needs to be obviously.
And infrared, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the Surface 4s have that built in. The Surface
Yes.
Books have that built in. Logitech came out with a camera that I know about that is supported for Windows Hello, and I don't know of any others out there. I know that they are. But I mean, I've messed around with that so much trying to fool it. I don't know what you've done, but it's like this thing does not. I've held up a picture, like printed out off my phone. I've done I'm streaming my face onto my phone into the, and then into the, and it doesn't. It's
It
because
doesn't.
it's
Right.
picking up the infrared signature. It needs that, so it's
Right.
pretty. I mean, I'm like, this is really cool, and
I use it all the time with my Surface Pro 4. It's awesome.
Yep.
And in fact, it's funny when I'm doing like workshops and things like that, and I try to demo that by putting my face real close, and they're like, "What?" Like, yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so we got Windows Hello for Business, and then we got there's a new tool that's going to be included, or it's included to convert your disk from MBR to GPT, so that you can to help you automate the BIOS to UEFI.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Windows Defender, that's getting renamed.
Right.
And that's no longer Windows Defender, it's Windows Defender Antivirus. And it's coming in with some added features, I guess, and some updates to it.
Yep. You'll be able to use your MDM to block out settings in the settings panel too, which is pretty cool. So if you don't want people in there, you'll be able to use your MDM to customize that now, which is nice.
Right. You got new Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection, ATP capabilities.
Mhm.
And what else we got?
You can monitor your Windows as a service deployments better too. They've added some better detailing and status reporting for that, which is nice.
And you noted.
Go ahead.
You noted something about the registry key.
Oh yeah, the address bar is awesome. They've added an address bar for where you are in the registry, so you can just type that in if you know where you want to go. And they've added a bunch of shortcut key combinations for you to move around. The command prompt, if you are always using Windows X to get to the command prompt, it's going to go to PowerShell by default now.
Right.
So I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, so a bunch of things. Oh, dynamic lock. That's another new feature. It's a security feature. So you pair your phone, Bluetooth, and I guess you can set it so your presence to a certain distance, and then it locks your
computer. Yep.
Yeah, locks your computer as you walk away. So in case you forget to lock it and things like that, so it does that for you automatically, which is pretty cool.
Right.
So there's a bunch of stuff in the Hyper-V improvements. There's new display options, high DPI scaling improvements. There's
The removal of the blue light is pretty interesting. I like fall asleep in front of my computer now.
the nightlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, nightlight. Yeah. What do they call it? Nightlight or night mode?
Oh, I don't know. It's all
Nightlight. Yes. Yeah. So that's that. And then
they've also released a bunch of tools that come alongside with supporting deployments of 1703 in the enterprise environment. So ADK 1703 has been
that came
released.
out. That came out today. Yep. Yeah, and I blogged it too. So
cool.
That came out today, and you have to use Windows 10 1703 build for that.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. So there are a bunch of things. The other stuff that you see in Windows 10 Creative Update 1703 will be Edge, management for tabs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's more becoming more like a reader and you can read books.
Yep.
There's Paint 3D, which replaces the traditional MS Paint, I guess.
Right.
And another thing that I see, is the picture-in-picture mode for videos. And I guess if you're, working in a document or things like that, and then you want to have, some kind of a video streaming thing going on, but you can have like a little picture and, you can move it to a corner and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Like a mini view thing.
Yep. So basically, if you are an IT pro, just because this thing is being called Creative Update, don't dismiss it. There's a lot of enterprise-grade features that the developers at Microsoft have incorporated into this build, which are very important. And so if you're not on the insider ring, then you should definitely be on that so you can see this ahead of time. Otherwise, hop on to MSDN now and grab that stuff.
Yeah. So it's coming out really fast. I mean, Microsoft's really pushing all these products, improvements, updates, bug fixes. They're no longer, 6 months out or a year out, things like that. I mean, they're happening almost like a weekly basis now. Mm-hmm. And they're really listening to the community. They're taking feedback really, heavily. So
definitely.
If you got something that's not working, that's bugging you, kind of a thing, let them know, and it may get taken care of.
Sure, absolutely.
So yeah. So the other big news was ConfigMgr, the ConfigMgr area, I guess. So we have current branch was updated to 1702.
Okay.
And that came out about a week or so ago, and that brought in, again, multiple features and stuff. I came across some blog posts actually written by a friend of mine, Amy Casto, and she was a guest blogger for Adaptiva, and she's got this top 10 features in ConfigMgr 1702, and we can post these links to, and I'll read off some of them, like basically the support for SQL and Server 2008.2 is no longer going to work with 1702. You better get your servers upgraded and stuff like that, and your SQL.
Cool.
There's a thing called there's improved cleanup of updates. There's a tool. It's called the Content Library Cleanup tool that cleans up a bunch of things in your easy setup payload folder. And there's things for task sequences that have improved. Things for like pre-caching, things like that. And UEFI hardware inventory, where you can report now on, you enable an inventory class, a hardware inventory class.
That's something people have been waiting for a long time.
Right, and you can report back and see, what systems you have with UEFI or BIOS and things like that. ADK version tracking, and what else? There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's quite a bit. So there's a lot of improvements like that. And then while that came out, and just probably about 3 or 4 days after 1702 for current branch came out, ConfigMgr Tech Preview 1703 came out.
Yep.
It was almost like, I think it was the end of the week, probably on Thursday, and that has a bunch of new features as well. Again, Amy has a nice blog post, and she walks you through some of these features. There's one of them is really interesting. It's called the direct links to apps in Software Center. And so what this is you use PowerShell and you create a link which you can then send out to your users and direct them to exactly to a specific app.
Nice.
That you want them to install, or you're trying to get the attention on, or
That's cool.
Yeah. And so I guess you can email and you can put it on a share somewhere and stuff like that. And as soon as they click it, it takes them right to that app in Software Center on their machines. So that's that. There are things for secure boot. I guess. Oh, there's another one here called you can import a computer into multiple collections. So I guess when you're adding it into SCCM, you can, instead of just going to one collection, you can say, I wanted to.
Finally, that's awesome.
Be a member of this.
Yep, cool.
And lots of Windows Analytics stuff, and so on.
Cool.
So that's my spiel.
That's awesome. I got a couple quick things. So if you have a Cisco ASA, you should, we'll post the link in our notes here, but there was a software bug discovered that is pretty interesting. Basically, after 213 days and being up for a certain number of hours, the ASA will stop forwarding traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, and so basically, like, if you have this software release, you have to do a show version, see how long you've been up, and reboot your ASA, because there's no fix for this yet. If you subscribe to the notice, you will get an email saying, okay, this has been resolved, here's the software. You need to resolve this, but obviously there's a lot of folks out there with ASAs. And there's also a couple of next generation IPS appliances that are affected by this as well. But this is pretty interesting. So we have all of our customers have ASAs. So we've been going through checking them and rebooting as needed. And the other, I came across this blog on Microsoft, which I think is kind of cool.
All right.
I do a ton of network analytics and stuff like that, and so I'm constantly using various packet capture tools, and one of the PFEs, his name is Brandon Wilson at Microsoft. He's a premier field engineer. He wrote a nice network capture best practices blog.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you've never done a network capture, he walks you through a scenario that he actually had to go through. It's not a beginner scenario, and I don't think it's really an advanced scenario. It's like right in the middle, so I think it's just worth reading so you can understand the process of a packet capture and trying to understand. So his SharePoint web front end was having problems communicating with the SQL database, and so he used network packet capturing tools to analyze what was going on and come with a solution. So if anybody's wondering, I like Wireshark, but also the Microsoft Network Monitor tool is pretty sweet as well.
Okay.
Another blog that was on Microsoft, actually, it's kind of different. It's about technology, but one of the uses of technology. So, both of us, our families come from India, and so this caught my eye. And the title is called "Saving Children from the Streets with the Cloud." It's about this organization. Yeah. So in India, if you've seen Lion, have you seen that movie yet?
Lion.
Lion.
Yeah.
You should if you haven't, check it out. Basically, in India, about 100,000 children go missing every year, and that's just what's reported. and there's very sinister things that can happen to those children. I don't want to bring us down, but just bad stuff. And so
Yeah.
there's an organization called Don Bosco that found out that they had problems that they needed to solve that they were able to solve with technology using Azure. And so it's just a quick blog. It'll take you less than a minute to read it. We'll post it in the links. But I think
That's awesome.
yeah, I think I read it. I'm like, this is maybe some people would want to support this organization because of what they do. So I thought I'd just mention it.
Sure.
I think that's awesome. Using the cloud to help make the lives of kids better. That's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah. So yeah, basically some big announcements. Windows 10 ConfigMgr and I guess what Patch Tuesday is coming up.
Oh, you know what we forgot to mention?
Yeah.
Ignite
What?
registration opened up to the rest of the world.
Yes, Ignite registrations have opened up. So I guess they gave us a window for those that pre-registered. You got first dibs and things like that. But then it opened up finally, I think, on the 27th of March.
28th, actually.
28th?
Yep.
Okay. And so now everybody's registering and things like that. And so, yeah, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in Orlando in September, I guess September 25th.
Something like that.
Something like that. It's the third week of September.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're planning on going, and just be patient with the information. It'll come as you need it. Don't freak out, but follow ms_ignite on Twitter. That is
at
I'm
MS.
sorry.
Right.
Thank you. That is a really excellent source of information, and a lot of people will.
And people should follow us. I mean, we post. I post a lot, and you post. As much as as me as well from time to time. And but the other thing is MS for Ignite. The hashtag is hashtag MSIgnite without the underscore. But
right.
Yeah, I guess. So yeah, so some good information. So hey, anything interesting you ate and drank lately? And
I've started drinking. Kombucha.
Kombucha.
Yeah, so it's a fermented drink. There's supposedly alcohol in it, but if there is, I'm not affected by it in any way.
Okay.
But it has a lot of good bacteria in it to help your gut and stuff like that. So I started working out again, and I'm just trying to make better health choices and stuff like that. And so I read.
And that's a good health choice, huh?
That's what the internet says. So if it's on the internet, it must be true.
It has to be true.
Yeah, but it's has a very vinegary taste. I think that it has almost like it almost reminds me of like a balsamic light dressing.
Okay.
So, but it's very light. It's like, okay, I can drink like half of the bottle, and then so I don't eat a lot of yogurt and stuff like that. So I thought, let me.
Okay, so it's more for like introducing bacteria and stuff, like good bacteria and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Because that we evolved to incorporate that into our system, so we should probably maintain that.
Right.
But as far as anything else interesting to eat, let me think. I went to a really excellent barbecue place near where I work. Being in New York, it's kind of hard to find excellent barbecue places compared to like being in Atlanta last year and those kinds of places. But this place was, oh my gosh, it was so good. Like I ordered a brisket, and I was just gonna go there for lunch. I ordered the brisket, and it was so amazing that I bought like more stuff home for dinner. It was it was incredible. And so I was like, oh wow, okay, that was a little.
And you were just talking about good food choices.
I know. Well, it's all meat. It's paleo, so paleo. But yeah, that's part of my problem, man. Like when it's in my mouth, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
I know, man. Yeah.
So because it was just a little bit of brisket, promise. It was just a little bit, and then the rest came along. But go ahead.
I've got the craving for like Asian food all the time. Chinese and Vietnamese and Nepali and things like that.
Nepali.
Sometimes, yeah, Nepali
Okay.
food. It's kind of like Indian. It's very close.
Okay.
It's got a little slight difference. They got the momos and they got the
Interesting.
those kind of things. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But I'm generally into the Vietnamese and things like that, and
Interesting.
so I have my cravings. I need that. Almost on a weekly basis. And
Oh, I need spicy
yeah,
stuff like all the time. Absolutely.
right.
Cool.
So, anyways, I think that's a wrap for now, and
Awesome.
hopefully we won't have a big gap between our shows. We've been pretty busy and stuff, and you know,
Crying
so
babies, basement flooding. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
It's just been a rough couple
we
of weeks.
it's incredible that we have lives too, actually,
Yeah.
other than IT and social media, and we got to take care of business too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so with all the technology stuff that's flowing through really fast, and it's I encourage people to actually follow Tech Connect on Facebook. There's tons of information there. Lots of people are posting stuff in there, asking questions and getting help and stuff like that. So that's one resource. Obviously, you and I on Twitter, and we can mention that. So.
Hmm.
I guess we'll sign off, and until next time, I'm Harjit Dalawal, and you'll find me on Twitter as @Hooge, Hoorge.
Cool. And I'm Prayer. You can find me on Twitter at ITPrayer. And I also have a blog that I occasionally update. The address is itprayer.wordpress.com.
Right.
Is it
And my
WordPress or Tumblr? I don't know.
it's
One
no,
of
no,
those.
it's WordPress. It's
That's
WordPress.
how much I
And
update it.
and and my blog is very simple, Harjit.us.
Excellent. Cool.
So, all right. Until next time.
Yep.
Cheers.
Good talking to you.
Bork, bork, bork.